we are here. What's up, everybody? Let's see what we got here in the chat. RFK6, great race. Didn't think Bubba had it. He had it. He definitely had it. Speaking of Bubba, there's another one here. Nicholas, let's go Bubba Wallace. That's what I'm talking about. He just said ka-chow. You know what? I appreciate you, Nicholas, for that. Congratulations. I thought he was done for, but he pulled through and won the Brickyard 400, baby. Hey, now that is what dreams are made of. Rage and Knuckles, what's up, man? How you doing? Obviously, you were in the chat with us during the race. Let's go, Bubba, baby. Woohoo! And then we'll get more into the chat later on. But again, welcome, everybody, to the Cutline. You guys already know who I am. I am Armani DePaul. And joining me for this episode, we've been trying to get this guy on for a while, which would be a testament of how good this is one of... So it's funny. Before he came on, I actually watched one of his latest videos, which is Bubba Wallace is a misunderstood superstar. And funny enough, I watched that earlier this morning, and then Bubba Wallace goes on and wins the race, but I don't need to talk about it. I'll let him describe it. We have ihave40wins on the show. What's up? Oh, hold on. Help.
I cannot get this face cam on.
Uh-oh. What's
My
up?
fault, chat.
You know what? We can hear you, so
we're gonna keep hitting video button, and it's gonna work one of these times. Trust me.
In the meantime, we'll keep it rolling. But yeah, guys, we got ihave40wins. Hopefully we'll get his webcam on eventually. Just fixing it up. But what's up, man?
Hello.
We'll keep it rolling. But like I said, before we went live, I just decided to go ahead and watch some of your videos. And like I said, the last one that I watched was Bubba Wallace is a misunderstood superstar. So I think it's kind of ironic that now he won. I feel like that aligned too perfectly.
It did. I don't know. I thought he was... First of all, I thought he was going to blow that race. I can't lie. No hate to Bubba, but like he usually gets really unlucky with that type of stuff. And you know how Larson is on overtime restarts. So like the first time I thought it was over with the rain caution. And then especially when Bill decided to right rear Zane Smith. Don't know what was up with that. But yeah, he won. Happy for him. That was a good win. That's good for NASCAR.
Before we had the first overtime, I thought that Larson was going to win because Byron was going to give him a push and then he was just going to go by him on the outside. But I didn't realize Hamlin was in fourth. So I'm thinking, okay, Hamlin's either going to try to win this race or get it for his team. But then I wasn't expecting Byron to basically leave Larson out to dry.
I did. I don't know. Hamlin's... You know how Hamlin is. He's like... Especially when you're... Like, 2311 hasn't won a race all season, so I'm sure he was doing whatever it took to win. And then Byron did not get to Bubba one time on the restart, so it was... I don't know. I think it was just hard to get to the bumper on the restart. I can't lie.
You know, I thought we were going to get Rex on the restart, because that's typically when we get Rex in Indy. But, I mean, really, besides that Bell incident, and we had kind of like a wash-up in 3 and 4 before we got to the white flag. Other than that, honestly, it was pretty tame for Brickyard 400 restart standards.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. Last year, they were, like, really bunched up. Like, with that one Johnson wreck and Logano wreck and all that jazz. That happened, like, multiple times in the restart. And this year... I don't even think there was one wreck going into turn 1.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
I don't think so either. I don't think there was a... Because I'm trying to think. We had the Chastain McDowell incident, but that was in turn 3. Eric Jones cut a tire.
I thought that was like a brake rotor.
Or a tire or brake rotor. It might have been. It was one of them.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Point is, he hit the wall hard.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, yeah, I don't think we did.
This is a terrible time for this webcam not to work. Hold on. I promise you I'm going to get this.
Listen, the chat is used to there being technical difficulties on this show. It's mostly me with my mic. I mean, JJR for life. He said it right here. Your mic worked for once. I'm shocked. JJR for life. The reason for that...
Boom, I did it.
Hey, there we go.
Thank God. Right, it was because I had the other camera app open. It's over, but we gotta know. We got
Oh, that's why. Yeah. So typically, we're going a little bit sidetracked, but typically when you have two things open with the webcam, it's gonna choose the one you had at first. So like, if I literally pull up the Zoom app, it's not gonna have my webcam open because I'm already using it here on Streamlabs, which, you know, little inside note, everybody, I stream on Streamlabs.
I think my cat, I have no idea what he just knocked over, but I heard something fall. I don't know if anyone else heard that on the stream, but dude, okay, we're just gonna let him be. We're gonna let him be.
Seems like there's some people in the chat I know I saw someone up here someone here in the chat talking about you. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, Chris, 40 big debut.
Oh, Chris. I can't even. Chris, you know who you are. Get on the right account.
Elite.
We got movement on here too. He's got his army of Twitter followers. Lord knows how he got that. Another NASCAR 25 giveaway incoming.
Oh, movement. Get me on here. I have 6.2k followers on Twitter. Hey, movement. DM me on Twitter. It's literally just my first. Well, you see it right here underneath my webcam. DM me and we'll talk about it.
Movement would be a great have on here. He's a knowledgeable NASCAR guy and a Bill fan. He can explain what happened today.
Okay. Hey, so if he's a Bell fan, okay. So one of the reasons I'm happy that Bubba won.
Sam, that was a good finish.
We'll talk a little more about what that means for Bubba Wallace, but so one of the reasons I'm happy Bubba won is because my group of friends, there's 4 of us. One of them, it's funny. When he got into NASCAR last year, he was a Bubba fan, and now he hates Bubba. Like, he just went a whole 180 on Bubba. He was so confident that Bubba wouldn't win that he said if Bubba ever wins, he even said Bubba could win a foot race, that he will buy our entire friend group diecast with a $120 limit. So I'm a Larson fan, but even I was like, Larson, I love you, but I want a diecast, bro. So you can stay in second for this time.
You should get a Ty Gibbs diecast.
I think I'm gonna get. So the only 124s I usually collect are the ones for races I've been to. And I'm missing a few of them, but the cheapest one I found, because he gave us a $120 limit, is Kurt Busch's Daytona 500 win.
Oh, you were out that race?
Oh, yeah.
That race was fire. I can't lie.
I want that because of my favorite part about that diecast is the tape and the grass.
Do they have that on the diecast?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have like the little donuts for like on the 41 too?
Oh, yeah.
I think they had that car in NASCAR Heat too. That car was so tough.
Have you ever had
that's a little throwback.
Did you ever have you ever had a race version diecast?
Not a race version, but when we were at Daytona this year at the flea market, I got the Ryan Newman 2004 Michigan win.
Oh,
and it had like the race ticket inside. It was only like $25 too. It's the steal of my life, I'm telling you. It's the greatest thing I have.
Oh, so you were at the flea market.
Yeah, dude, the flea market at Daytona is so tough. I recommend to anyone who goes to Daytona to go to the flea market. If you're a NASCAR fan, you're going to die there. It's so good.
No, the reason I asked that is because I was working that tent. So the Daily Downforce had a tent at
you
the
were
flea
there?
market, and I was there. Yeah. I'll admit, this was pre-Cutline. Admittedly, that was like literally, I was at the tent, and then I drove down because I would have stayed for the 500, but I was like, it's the first episode for the Cutline, so I want to be there for the stream, and I'm not streaming at Daytona because that would be hell. So I live in Miami, so I just drove the 3 hours down.
And like, were you like selling diecasts at the flea market there?
We didn't sell anything. We gave away like bags, like sponsor stuff. Like we gave away. There was a few sponsors we had. Like we had Victory Junction. We gave away some wristbands for that, or like those little bands for that. We had Joe's Hand Cleaners. We were giving away product for that. We were giving away hats, shirts, like beer bomb. We did give away a few diecasts though. We gave away a few 164s. And I think we gave away a 124. I'm trying to remember.
What day were you doing that day? I think we were there maybe Friday before the truck race.
Friday.
Definitely Saturday.
We were there Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back there for the Coke Zero. I don't know if you're going there for the
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'm like, I'll have space. Like, I'll bring an extra backpack to like fly back with and from Daytona just for diecast and all that. There was like a Ryan Newman door sheet metal on it that I definitely would have copped if I was driving there. I promise you.
So you're a Ryan Newman fan.
Absolutely.
Tell
Dude,
me about that. Because I've never been a Ryan Newman fan.
I can like, I don't know. Just ever since I was like a kid, like 5 or 6 or whatever, it's just been Ryan Newman, I guess. No idea where it came from, but like, it was I wouldn't say glaze, but like, I know too much about that man. Like, I watched every race from like definitely 2011 through 2020, and I could like easily identify wwhere he finished in most of them.
Sheesh. Oh, so you kept track of him?
Oh yeah, dude. I was on the NASCAR. I had the race labs. Do you remember Race Buddy? All that. I had that open, just watching that man putt around in 15th. Greatest time of my life.
That's crazy. He just dissed his favorite driver.
Stats don't lie. You know, you can't hide from stats. But the 2013 Brickyard 400, what a race! The greatest race in NASCAR history. Let me tell you guys that.
Over this Daytona 500.
I was 3 years old, so I wasn't like really sentient for that. I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. The Brickyard, I remember practice. He was 8th in final practice that Saturday morning. Then we got the pole. We were the last one to qualify, and then we won. What a weekend!
Not bad. How old was I? I think it was 6. Yeah, I was 6 when that race happened. But let's talk a little more about Bubba Wallace. I want to talk about just what this win means for him and NASCAR as a whole, because I think majority of fans like Bubba. I really do think there's a lot of support for Bubba, but there's also, like we know, a lot of hate for Bubba. And that puts a lot of pressure on a driver. You know, when it's like you feel like you have a lot to prove and you got Michael Jordan backing you up. So that puts a lot of pressure on a driver. And we know Bubba Wallace, he is someone who wears his heart on his sleeve. So this is a guy who, they said on the broadcast, he has been on the Cutline more than any other driver since the next gen began. Cutline in terms of the playoff conversation, not in terms of the show. Bubba, if you ever want to come on the Cutline, you're more than welcome to.
I would love to have a podcast with Bubba. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be incredible. I would love that. I always say there are certain people, like, so I have another show on the Downforce called No Cautions Given, which, by the way, when you guys are done with the stream, go check it out. But I made a point in my first video a couple days ago, where there are just certain people in the industry where I would just love to sit down and have a beer with them and just talk. Bubba is one of those, because I feel like Bubba is one of the most down-to-earth drivers out of anyone in the field. You know, there's some guys who just feel like they're just, frankly, they're just doing a 9 to 5. There are other drivers that feel larger than life. And there's other drivers, you know, they feel like they're a little bit of a personality. Bubba is one of those guys where you can really see that you get the feeling that he's just like you or me. He's just a regular guy who just happens to drive a race car. So having a guy like him win, I think, is huge for the sport, because that's relatability. He's honestly more relatable than a guy like a Larson or a Hamlin or even like a Chase Elliott. He really does feel like, in a weird way, one of us. So having someone like him win, especially a crown jewel like Indy, is huge for NASCAR.
Agreed. It's already doing numbers on socials too. Like on Twitter, it's trending #1 right now. It's getting hella likes and all that.
Oh yeah.
Plus, ever since he's had his kid and everything, he is really down to earth. He's a vibe now. I like his TikToks and all that. And then I don't know if you see like the vlogs he does on YouTube and all that, but his vlogs are pretty good too. Yeah. He's a good marketable driver.
I haven't seen his YouTube ones, but the only driver I've seen on YouTube is Nemechek. So I guess drivers. Yeah. How long has he had that?
I remember I saw them in Daytona. I started putting them in like my watch later. I think he just uploaded one recently, but yeah, he does like vlogs on YouTube. But we'll plug his channel, Bubba Wallace. Go watch the vlogs. It's a good insight for NASCAR if you ever wanted a behind the scenes look.
Gotcha. But besides Bubba Wallace with this race, obviously it's a huge deal. He's locked into the playoffs, but also this is a huge boost for 2311, which we know the lawsuit. Suing NASCAR. Lost their charters. It is a big deal that the team, not only an open team, It's not like they won Kansas or Martinsville or Richmond. They won a crown jewel, which we'll get to that discussion later on, whether the Brickyard's a crown jewel. But to have an open team suing NASCAR win at the biggest track in the world with their biggest driver, this is probably as good of a weekend for 2311 as you could get, besides the Tyler Reddick crash.
Yeah. That probably sucked for them, but yeah, didn't they just got their charter taken away like right before Dover too, so this is an immediate turnaround, and this is their first win of the year too. This is like I'm shocked Reddick hasn't won a year, or hasn't won this year.
Yeah.
Riley Herbst, I mean,
he's there.
Riley Herbst is Riley Herbst. I don't know what else to say.
He's just there.
I'm not quite sure how I understand pay drivers and all that, but like there had to have been a better option than Riley Herbst. I don't know, back on Bubba Wallace, but yeah, with 20 at 311 and them suing them. Speaking of that, I think 2311 and Front Row Motorsports is 100% in the right on that. I don't know if that's an allowed take, but NASCAR does seem like a monopoly these days with how they run things. So hope to see them come out with the W on that on December 1st. Isn't that when the ruling is?
I think so, yeah.
Good.
My thing with the case is that on paper, it should be clear cut as no one is forcing you to race in NASCAR. You could go to the Cars Tour. You can go to ARCA, really, which I know they're owned by NASCAR, but still. So my thing is, they have to have something to where they're this confident in still moving forward. I don't know what that is, but it's something, because they wouldn't just make this lawsuit, spend millions and millions of dollars on this lawsuit, lose millions of dollars in assets and charters if they didn't think they had something.
Oh yeah, if they were already losing money with the charters and all that every weekend, as most teams say they do, having no charter, especially with wrecking race cars in the next gen era, has just got to be destroying them. So I'm sure they're pretty confident in whatever they're doing. Exactly. But I trust them.
Yeah, I also do hope they win, because the model's got to change.
It does. I think when the model changes, I hope they win. But when it does inevitably change, I think it'll be a lot better for NASCAR. But then whatever now is,
agreed.
Woof.
I want to talk about one thing too, and it's kind of the subject of the title of this stream. So I put a video out 2 days ago, Friday, saying that how I'm not a fan of the Brickyard 400. I got a Brickyard 400 poster behind me, so it's going to sound a little weird, but I'm not a fan of this race. I think it's boring. I think it's an eyesore. But most importantly, I think it's an excuse. It gives NASCAR an excuse to have bad racing because it's Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the Brickyard. It's the biggest racetrack in the world. So the racing... What I personally don't like is when we give excuses for bad racing. Because, yes, it's Indy, but the fans don't seem to show that. Yeah, they got 60,000 people. That's great, but it's like Daytona gets more. Talladega gets more. Road America got more than Indy does nowadays. So
that it did.
So what I was really paying attention to is, will this race be good enough to essentially prove me wrong? In the sense of, I think the Brickyard 400 needs to go away. They need to go to IRP. I can't say this race did that. Bubba winning is a great story. One of the best stories of the year. But the on-track product itself, can we really say that race was good?
No, there's just not a soul on the planet that could think that was a good race. I mean, if you're a Bubba fan, sure, you could like bait your way into doing that, I'm sure. I mean, if Ty Gibbs won, I'm sure I would call it the best race of the year. But I mean, was there a pass in the top 10 under green flag conditions that wasn't a restart? Like, I'm genuinely asking.
I don't know. I know Reddick made his way through the field a few times. I think that was it.
I don't know. I was doing anything else but watching that race. I was on TikTok. It was not a very fun race, but yeah. Hopefully I was better. I don't know. I don't even know how to fix the Brickyard either. It's kind of what it is. Maybe make a package, some type of package that gives you more draft on the straightaways. I don't know. That's the only way to pass is on the straightaways at this point. So IRP in the next gen's not even going to be good either. It's a next gen issue at this point. I don't even know how to fix it.
I
And it's
can't
starting
even,
to get that way with a lot of tracks too. Like it's starting, buckle up for Gateway. That's going to be a rough one.
I can't even say it was a next gen issue because the Gen 6, did they have any good racing at the Brickyard? Don't
That's a
count the
fair
Ryan
point.
Newman win. Don't count the Ryan Newman win.
That's a fair point. I don't,
Even the COG
I mean,
or the Gen 4, I don't remember any. I remember moments, but I don't remember any good races. That's the problem.
I just don't think it's possible with a stock car to have good. The only good racing I've ever seen at the Brickyard with a stock car is during that one test that they did. That's genuinely the only time I've ever seen that. They did a test to like first do it in like 1992 or whatever, and they were passing. Maybe they got to take off those curbs. They didn't have the curbs or whatever down there when they were doing that. Maybe we should try that.
That might not be a bad idea. Because that's the thing. I mean, yeah, when they did that, remember the track was technically different. It was a different configuration, and then they changed the configuration. I believe the year of the Brickyard, so that's why it's technically the Brickyard 400. It's a different track than what they originally intended. But again, this was like 30 years ago at this point. And if the Gen 4 can't work, if the Gen 5, 6, and now 7 can't work, and here's another thing. I know the Indy 500 is the biggest race in the world, but still, on paper, it doesn't look good when NASCAR is significantly bigger than IndyCar. But IndyCar can sell out every seat in that facility, and NASCAR can barely hit a quarter. I know 60,000 is a lot of people. It's more than what Darlington can hold. It's more than what Homestead can hold. But it's still an eyesore on TV. I mean, my friend who's a casual who now has to buy all those diecasts for us, even he is like, where's all the people? And when you have to explain it to someone like, oh, there's just a lot of seats, and NASCAR typically doesn't get that kind of people here at this track. But then you're going to say, but didn't they just sell out a few months ago? Why can't a bigger series sell out just a few months later? And it's in the summer. Should be no school, barely any work. Like, it's not a good look. It's just not. That's why I called it an eyesore. It's just not a good look.
I agree. Not much you can do to fix it. I mean, the driver is considered a crown jewel, so I guess that's what makes something a crown jewel is what the drivers say. I want to see a truck race. I feel like would be good though. The trucks would put on a good show. That's the only thing. I'd love to see them draft down that straightaway. That'd be cool. But I don't know. The road course wasn't very good either. I didn't like the road course at all when they ran it. Xfinity is pretty chopped there too. Drafting package, no drafting package. And then, yeah, it's always empty in the stands. So I don't know. I don't even know what NASCAR loses by not going to Indianapolis, really.
I don't know. And
You need a street course, honestly.
how much of a
Street course
crown
wouldn't
jewel
hurt.
are you if you had to get kicked off the schedule?
That is true.
Seriously.
I've never seen the Coca-Cola 600 races the Roval for the
Yeah.
Coca-Cola 600.
600s on the oval. Darlington lost a date, but they lost their 400 miler, not the Southern 500, and the Daytona 500 will never go away. So how much of a crown jewel you really are if you had to get kicked off the schedule to go to a road course?
I think it's just the history of the track at this point. And IndyCar, honestly. I think IndyCar kind of carries it.
It's a crown jewel for the drivers and the industry, but the fan base, it's not. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of Ryan Newman winning, like it's like obviously cool, but like I don't know. I don't really care about the race.
Yeah, like Kyle.
I'm ready for
Larson-
Iowa. Iowa should be fun, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Larson won. I mean, yeah, that was cool as a Larson fan, especially, he didn't get what he missed the 600. He didn't have a great result at the Indy 500, so it was cool to see him get that redemption. But I mean, like, it's like just, even when you see them wins, like when you see a driver win the Daytona 500, you're like, even like now, while it still lost a lot of its luster, you're thinking, dang, he just won the Daytona 500. Even the Coca-Cola 600, and even to a little bit of an extent, the Southern 500. When you win at Indy, I don't get that magical vibe I should get from a crown jewel. I don't feel like it was this grand accomplishment, this big deal. It's just like, all right, they won an Indy. Congratulations. And it's a crown jewel for drivers in the industry, But for the fan base, it's just another race.
Yeah. I mean, with Bubba winning today, it kind of felt like it. It's probably because he hasn't won in, 100 races, whatever that was. Yeah. But, I mean, Larson winning was only special because I hadn't raced there in a while. But, I mean, the 2018 races. So you can go back and look at the race replay of that and look at the stands. I understand it was ran on a Monday and all that, but I mean, there couldn't be more than 5,000 people there.
Yeah, and I was at that 20. I was at both Xfinity and Cup.
And Xfinity was pretty good. Can't lie. It was pretty entertaining.
It was all right. Speaking of Xfinity, we have to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about Connor Zillage. We already know how good he is. He's going to go to the 99 next year. Although, I'll say that for later about my thing about Connor. Austin Hill and Eric Almirola. I don't know what Richard Childress is telling his drivers before every race. I don't know if all the drivers literally go into like a little meeting and then Austin Hill and the two Austins, funny enough, they're both like, if Childress is just telling them to be as aggressive as they want, the two Austins get that in their head, but the Kyle Busch and Jesse Love, they just do their own thing. But how do you look at that and you don't think that was not intentional? Because that clearly was intentional. You can literally see his gloves go straight, and then he just goes, whoop, and then right rear hooks him. And this isn't the first time he's done that. Like, Austin Hill is a hothead. Let's not kid ourselves. He is a hot-headed driver.
I mean, he's been in the Xfinity Series for like, what? He started part-time in 2021, I believe. Yeah, he was running the 61. But he said that one thing that Dale Jr. quote tweeted about how he wanted to be a leader and set the standard for the series. But yeah, he always does nonsense like that. He has terrible driving etiquette. And without his, I don't want to bash the guy, but like without his super speedway wins, I don't quite understand what he'd be useful for. But that was probably, like, I'm not going to lie, that was one of the most obvious intentional wrecks I've ever seen in my life. Like, especially with the white gloves too, like you genuinely couldn't have done a worse job of trying to hide it. And then the Richard Childress quote after, like he was getting targeted for that, was just outrageous. And that seems, they can be annoying sometimes. Richard Childress, goodness.
Why would NASCAR want to target the team with the most iconic number in the sport? Why would NASCAR want to attack one of which should be one of the most liked teams in the sport? Because you got Kyle Busch, which now he's likable because he's not winning. Yeah, you got Austin Dillon, but still. And you got Jesse Love. So, and they're a Chevy team. And you got the history of the three behind you. Why would NASCAR want to target Richard Childress of all people? You don't think they want to target 2311 or front row?
He should be grateful that he didn't get, that the three didn't get suspended after Richmond last year.
Yeah.
He's anything but targeting. They're getting a lot of special breaks sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just like you said, they're getting special breaks. I mean, think about it. Austin Dillon probably should have gotten suspended. Didn't get suspended.
Probably should have been parked for that race.
He kept the win. Austin Dillon should be lucky all he got was a playoff berth revoked and lost a few points. But it's like, the problem is that if you listen to Eric Eastep's last video, he posted it last night. He described Richard Childress perfectly. Richard Childress is the Jerry Jones of NASCAR. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, think about it. Both of them had their glory days already. Jerry Jones back in the 80s and the 90s, obviously RC the same thing. And you could argue both of them were carried. You could argue Jerry Jones was carried by Jimmy Johnson, the coach. And you can make the argument that Richard Childress was carried by Dale Earnhardt. Because yes, RC has 6 titles. All of them are from Dale Sr. No one else has won a title with him. Matter of fact, I think besides Senior and Harvick, no one's won more than 20 races for the organization.
No, Harvick, I think Harvick had like maybe 15 to 18 wins with him.
He had like 20.
Yeah, he might have gotten up there because he had a few good years, 2011 through 13. But like up until 2010, it was looking a little rough for Harvick. He probably had like 10 to 13 wins. It was rough. But he has had, I mean, Jeff Burton was he was above decent. He was like, I wouldn't say championship caliber, but like for a few years he was
Okay.
a top, he's a top 5, top 8 driver, something like that. And then yeah, his equipment just hasn't been good. Ever since Harvick left, the equipment at RCR has just been awful.
My thing with those two, going back to the comparison of Jerry Jones and Richard Childress, when you win a bunch of titles, you kind of just get complacent. I mean, think about it. I really do believe that at this point, Jerry is just complacent with who he has, with what he is. He's like, I don't care about winning Super Bowls because I already got them. I just want attention in the media because that's what's important. He's got his stars. He's got his radio show. He's the biggest name in the city. He's one of the biggest names in the NFL. He's already got his rings, so he doesn't really care about that. And I honestly think it's the same thing for Richard Childress. When you have 6 championships as an owner, it's really hard to just kind of say, like, what do you have to prove? Imagine going to Richard Childress right now and saying, hey, dog, you need to prove that you're a good owner. And Richard Childress is going to look at you like you're crazy. He's going to be like, dude, I got 6 cup titles. I got over 100 cup wins. What do you mean I got what to prove? I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm going to go down as one of the greatest owners in NASCAR history. What the team is doing now aside, that's what's going to happen. So when that happens, all they want is just the attention. They want the limelight. They want everything to shine on them. And when you get older and you're just like, hey, I don't got a lot of time left. You don't really care how it happens. You just want it to happen. And I think that's what Richard Childress is. He's just someone who wants attention. I mean, think about it. The whole blue collar statement. Yeah, he may have started off as blue collar, but he's a multi-millionaire. I've never heard of a blue collared multi-millionaire. Chat, does that make any sense to you? Chat, does that make any sense to y'all? That don't make sense to me?
Definitely not even close. Didn't they say his definitely multi-millionaire net worth status, but he hasn't been blue collar since the Dale Earnhardt days. Probably before that, the late 80s, around there, but goodness.
I'm going to look it up. Richard Childress net worth 2025. 250 million. Yeah, so much for us, so much for blue collar. And let's be honest here. Here's my thing about racing, especially in NASCAR. No one in NASCAR, at least an owner, is blue collar.
No, not in today's day and age.
You cannot be an owner in NASCAR if you're not rich.
I mean, the charters are worth like what, hundreds of yeah. The next one's probably gonna sell for 50 to 100 million. So
exactly,
you're sitting on that already, plus your net worth. So definitely not blue collar, as he'd say. But I don't. He definitely does like to be in the media a lot compared to most owners, especially after that one. What was it, 2023 Martinsville debacle, whatever you call it, with Creed and Hill. He was definitely in the media, bad-mouthing his driver, something I've never seen an owner do. It's outrageous.
If you're Richard Childress Racing, and you know your cars suck, and besides Austin Hill at a super speedway, you're not really going to do anything throughout the year, what do? Because they already made a bunch of changes last year, but nothing's really happened. I think it's time for RC to step down.
I've always said that, not always said, but I've said for at least a year that Childress should retire and so should Austin Dillon. And just like Austin Dillon needs to step up and become the owner of Richard Childress Racing. That would make the most sense for them. And then put something competent in the 3. Maybe Jesse Love can get a crack at it. See if they can get some top 10s. Because Austin Dillon has had, 2014? It's been 12 years, 12 full-time Cup seasons, and he hasn't. I guess the Richmond one, he kind of deserved that win. That's the only one he deserved. He deserved to win that race. But outside of that, he spent 11 years not once coming close to earning a win. So I mean, being a NASCAR driver is fun, I'm sure, but I don't quite understand what the goal is at this point. I mean, he was running 30th all day today before he ran into nothing on a restart crash. And then he runs 30th every week, every year. I just don't get it. But more power to him, I guess. But I think he should step down. They both should step down and put someone else in the 3.
Here's my thing about Austin Dillon is that at least he wasn't a bad driver before. Yeah, he would luck into wins, but this is a guy who made the playoffs like what 5, 6, 7 times in his career. Say what you want.
2016,
yeah,
he was pretty good.
Points.
He would have made it to the round of 8 if he didn't like mash. Like on a restart crash, he got wrecked at Charlotte, but like if that didn't happen, he was like close to making it on the points.
2017, he got the 600 win. I know it was fuel mileage, but hey, they got it better than they got it better than Jimmy. They outsmarted Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. Say what you want, they did. 2018, he wrecked down Marola. You can make the argument he probably could have won anyway, just because of how big the runs were at the time. But he got the win there regardless. He didn't make it in 2019. He got the Texas win in 2020. I was at his Daytona win in 2022. And then he didn't win in 2020.
It's a rough race.
You know what's crazy? I was early getting ready to leave because I'm like, there's no way they're going to get this thing dry. And they got it dry. I'm like, oh, they actually did it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go to work that day. That was just a terrible finish. And then, yeah, it was him versus a bunch of just Rick Ware racing cars, basically. And then Austin Cindric. So it wasn't just the most outlandish super speedway win you could ever have in your life. But he got it. He got it. All that matters, I guess. It's in the record books.
But I mean, yeah, like Dylan, Kyle Busch.
He should do Xfinity. He'd be pretty good in that again. I don't know why more Cup drivers don't do Xfinity. Like when you just completely chop. Like, I mean, why not? You know, Daniel Suarez, that's a guy. He should do Xfinity for a season. That would be good. Good for him. In the junior motorsports car.
Here's why. Try telling an NFL player who's like a second or third stringer, they should drop down to the college level. Even though we know they can't, try telling them that.
A fair point.
If you're an athlete and you're at the pinnacle, even if you're 30th in the standings, you are one of the 30 best drivers in the world in terms of stock car. We know what we mean, but
well, especially in the next gen era, like I would say there's about 32 drivers who on any given weekend can back into a win easily.
Yeah. So think about that. You may be 30th in points. You may be getting outrun. You may get maybe 1 or 2 top 10s a year, but you are still one of the 30 best drivers because you are at the pinnacle of the sport. Why would you want to leave that to go down to Xfinity where you go from 30th to like 45th, 50th?
Wins are wins. I don't know. You got to ask Justin Allgaier. He was doing God knows what in the 51 car for those few years. He actually had a few good runs. He was doing decent in that car. And then, yeah, went right back down there to Xfinity and actually started winning. So I would say that's probably like one of the few times that's worked out better for a driver is to go back down to Xfinity. But Daniel Suarez, I think he's too big of a star to end up back in Xfinity.
I think he's
unfortunately.
He'll probably go to college.
Yeah, he'll end up somewhere. Someone's going to give him a ride. He's got sponsor money. Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on real quick. I'm going to change the screen right here. Everyone should know what time it is. Race weekend rankings. Now, if you guys don't know how this works, every week I have 2 race weekend rankings. They are a tier list on Tier Maker. One for the weekend and one for the season as a whole. Yes, we have ranked every single race throughout the 2025 season. It's hard. Okay, it's hard, but we do it anyway. So we're going to do the same thing here, guys. Before we do, please like the stream and subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel. That helps me out a ton. And if you want to have your own race weekend rankings, the links are in the description for both Indianapolis and the 2025 season. Before we get started, I'm going to look at the chat real quick here because it's been a while since we talked to you guys. Sly HD, I just left the track about 20 minutes ago. Hey, congratulations, man. You're able to watch the Brickyard 400. It was a weird race in my opinion. Well, I'll tell you what I think about the Brickyard 400, then we'll ask 40 what he thinks as well once we get to this tier list. Nicholas Austin Hill reminds me of a Chick Hicks in RCRs with the Dallas Cowboys and NASCAR. Took the words right out of my mouth. JGR for life. Without Chase, Harvick is the 2010 champion. That is technically true. Technically, he did win a title for RCR. Levi Life, what's up, Levi? Or the 3 rigging the race for the 24 last season, along with the 1 car, and it worked for Cole Custer. Raging Knuckles, I wish more Cup drivers did Xfinity. I know Logano wanted to do more, but he couldn't find sponsorship for it, which is weird. How does a 3-time Cup champion not find sponsorship for Xfinity? That's wild. That might be a subject for another video. What's up, NR 2015? 2055 CB. Welcome to the stream, and I am making my list from Levi. So let's make our list right now. Coming in at number 3, I have to put the truck race there for the simple reason that I didn't see the truck race. I was too busy watching Fantastic Four First Steps. I had tickets to the opening night. Of course, I took it because I was hyped for that movie. I won't spoil it, but it was a pretty good movie. Though I preferred Superman, I gave Fantastic Four an 8 out of 10. I gave Superman around an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 in case you wanted to know. But movie review over. I didn't really get to see the truck race. From what I heard from you guys over the Daily Downforce Discord, it was just Lane Riggs dominating. So I can't put any higher because I didn't see it. It wouldn't be fair. Moving on to number 2 on the list, I'm going to give it to the Brickyard 400. While I mentioned it, yes, Bubba Wallace winning is a phenomenal story. Phenomenal. I can't use that to describe the racing. It was terrible. It was boring. Cars were separated by about half a second per lap. And you really couldn't pass anybody unless you had a significantly faster car like Tyler Reddick or Kyle Larson. And even then, Larson had to use strategy to get up through the field. So, strategy races are fun, but I want to see some passing in my NASCAR races. We didn't see a lot of that in the Brickyard, so that goes number 2, which means the Xfinity Series is at number 1. Honestly, was fairly similar to the Brickyard, but he had a little more passing. You could make moves for the lead. Connor did that throughout the race. Obviously, he got the win because of it. Sam Mayer did it throughout the race. Allgaier did it. Larson did it. The ability to pass was possible. You didn't have that for the Brickyard. And because of that, that is why I'm putting the Xfinity race at number 1. Brickyard's going 3 and 2, and 3 by default. I have to give it to the truck race. Though, if I did see the race, I would have probably put it in 2nd and Cup in 3rd. But, none of that matters because Fantastic Four was better than all 3 of these races. And, let's just say, yeah, Fantastic Four, great movie. Like I said, my movie review over. 40. Let me ask you something. What did you think about all 3 of these races? And what do you think about my tier list? I got it right? Or I got it wrong?
I think the truck race definitely would be 2nd. If you watched it, it was a lot better than whatever was going on in the Cup race. I truly do think any race would have been better than what was put on 2 hours ago. Like, Bubba winning saved that race. Like, if Logano didn't blow a tire and won that race, I would have crashed out right on this. This would have been the worst race in history. But I mean, like, you always say you can't pass with the next gen car. Like, all the driver always say that, but you truly could not pass. It was, But Xfinity you could pass a little bit. Xfinity was entertaining. I liked Xfinity, so I would do Xfinity Truck Cup.
I probably would have done that again. I just wasn't able to watch it.
So throw ARCA above Cup too.
Oh,
I didn't watch that, but we'll throw ARCA in there too.
I used to rank ARCA, but I just can't keep up with it, so I stopped doing it. And especially once I figured out that ARCA is required to end under green, I was like, no. That is one of the worst rules in racing. I hate overtime. I personally hate it. If the race is 400 miles, and at 400 miles, I don't need an overtime.
I'm an overtime enjoyer. I like chaos in NASCAR. I'm a big chaos guy. After years of watching 2011, I wouldn't say 2011, that's fun, but geez, mid-2010s NASCAR was so boring. I don't understand how I was entertained through that. Brian Newman, thankfully, but chaos is fun in NASCAR. That's the only thing the next gen is good for. I don't even know what to do with the next gen. I don't even think horsepower could fix it, but we'll see what they do with it. Weren't they supposed to be adding horsepower? Like, they rumored about that, but then they just didn't do it.
I think they said they're willing to. I don't think they confirmed if they're going to do it or not.
Normally, whenever like NASCAR like lets a rumor slip, it usually like a few months later it's confirmed. Like with Bristol Dirt, it was like they like rumored it a little bit, and then it was we're doing Bristol Dirt, and then it's always just like that. They just let a rumor slip, and then we're doing this.
If I had to guess, they're probably going to do it for next year, and they're just going to consider this year a wash.
There's just no way they could be enjoying this. But like, I've heard that. What do you call it? The higher ups, like some of them don't even watch the races.
You know
which
what? I believe it. I believe
that
that.
that's just the most non-shocking thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is the most
'Cause, like, there's
NASCAR
just
thing I've heard.
yeah, there's no way any executive could watch that and like not want to immediately do something about it.
Exactly.
The diffuser is not that cool. We can get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not losing sleep over losing to a diffuser. I promise.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that much aura.
The next gen car. That determines if it's successful. The aura around. Ooh, question. Which driver has the most aura?
It's not Ty Gibbs.
No.
Definitely not. It's probably
Well, you were describing him. I think it would be.
it's probably Carson Hocevar these days. His streams are pretty funny. I wish more drivers would act like that, have a little bit of personality. I think the sport would be at a lot better place if they did that, but
I think
in time.
it's either Denny Hamlin or Ryan Blaney.
Oh yeah. I guess Denny Hamlin would be #1 for aura,
Denny
huh?
Hamlin reeks aura.
I mean, Bubba Wallace today had aura too. He's a
That's-
pretty good candidate. If he would like win more, he would definitely be #1.
Chat, do you want to see that as a short later on or video later on? Top 10 drivers with the most aura? Let me know in the comments. Which driver has the most aura in NASCAR? All right, moving on to the 2025 edition. We'll make this short. Typically, if I don't see a race, I just throw it somewhere in C tier because C tier is AK what I call the forgettable tier. Every race in C tier, I don't really remember, and I probably won't remember until further notice. Cup, I'm putting that.
F.
I was thinking D. You
What
know
would
what?
qualify as like an F tier race?
I'm gonna go. I'll go the end of D. I don't think it was. I say my F tiers for just straight up atrocious. Like there was nothing redeemable about the race. They at least had strategy to make it fun and interesting, but other than that, yeah, this race was just no. And the Xfinity race, I'll put it in the middle. I'll put it at the back end of C tier, just because it was eh.
I don't understand why Xfinity won't use a normal package here. It doesn't. Why it makes sense.
Let's be honest. Would it really do anything?
I mean, no. Honestly, for like aesthetic purposes, maybe make it look like they're going faster, but like racing wise, it's just no. Yeah, there's not much you can do with that track. It's just a lost cause.
So here we go, everybody. This is the 2025 Race Weekend Rankings Post Brickyard 400 edition. You can see where we're at right now. We have 4 S tier races, a few A, mostly everything slots in the B and C, and then a couple in the D and the F. We still got about 14 weeks to go, and this is what we're looking at so far. Again, if you guys want to have your Race Weekend Rankings, 2 links in the description. You can make out your tier lists and then tag us over on Twitter, and we will share it so you can see it. But that's going to do it. That's all I have here for this episode. Before we go, guys, this is one of my favorite parts about the stream because this is what I like to call the raid, if you will. You guys will see, not underneath my webcam, but you can see it right there. Underneath, yeah, right there. Underneath 40, right there. You'll see hit the links to his Twitter, and you'll see the link to it's just, hey, what's up, man? But you'll see.
I was mid I didn't know the camera came back on. My fault, chat.
Oh, you good.
We're back.
You'll see the links to his YouTube, and you'll see the links to his Twitter. Everybody, go follow and subscribe to ihave40wins. Again, one of the best content creators out there.
We'll get a new video out soon, chat. I promise.
It's the
I had to move out.
But 40, well, everyone goes and raids you and fills you with subscriptions and follows and all that stuff. Tell us about yourself. The floor is all yours.
Gee, I like NASCAR. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. Big NASCAR guy. Big Ty Gibbs and Ryan Newman fan. And I think my Twitter's pretty funny. I like my Twitter.
I know what I need to ask you about. And I want to ask you this since it started. What was going on with the beef with you and Moonhead?
Oh, dude, he was on a beef. He was like arguing with another guy on Twitter, and he like kind of like used that guy's profile picture like out of context to like make fun of him. And I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. So I responded back about it, and it like kind of started off a bait off. You know how it goes, but yeah, I flicked up with them at Chicago. I just didn't post it or anything like that. But like, yeah, at Chicago Street a few weeks ago, I saw him after the Xfinity race, and I went up to take a picture with him. He was, I don't know if he knew who I was. He was kind of drunk. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but like, this is kind of what it seemed like. But it seemed cool, I guess. I should probably stop bait offs on Twitter. I'll give up those up.
No, the beefs are awesome. I loved it.
It
love
was
seeing the beef.
in the moment. It seems like a good idea, but like once it like resonates, it's kind of like, did I really need to do that? Like with some of the Carson Hocebar stuff, like it's kind of like, did I really need to do that? I don't know.
That's fair.
Live and learn.
But again, everybody, go and follow and subscribe to ihave40wins. 40, thank you for coming on. But before we go, I almost forgot something. I had to show was the race above or below the Cutline poll. And if you guys don't know what this is, every week after every race, truck, Xfinity, Cup, you name it, I post a poll on the Daily Downforce Discord where it's pretty much our version of was it a good race poll. So was the race above, good, new addition starting this week, mid or on the cut line, or bad, below the cut line. And if you guys want to vote on those polls, go to the Daily Downforce Discord and put your vote in. Now, you may notice here, I didn't make that poll because like I said, I was busy watching Fantastic Four. So shout out to Raging Knuckles for posting the poll for the truck race. Raging Knuckles, you are the man. If you're still in the stream, appreciate you for that, man. And we'll take a look at this one here first. I voted on middle just because I want to see what the results are. But you can see 75%. We have 4 votes. 75% voted mid, so on the cut line, and 1 vote for above the cut line. So like I mentioned before, mid race. Again, I can't testify because I wasn't there. The Xfinity Series race, moving on. Was the Xfinity race above or below the cut line? With about 16 minutes left, we have 11 votes. 36% voted for on the cut line, and actually 64% voted for above. So a lot of you actually really like the Xfinity race. Pretty interesting in the chat. And then finally, was the Brickyard 400 above or below the cut line? Let's see what the votes are. I'm going to put below. 2 votes for below. 36 for above, and 45. What? Y'all Bubba fans? Because that's the only... You 5 Bubba fans? That is the only reason why y'all would vote above. Because there's no way y'all think that race was objectively good. Hey, if you're Bubba fans, you're Bubba fans. I'm not going to take that away from you. You know, I'm happy your driver won. But you can't sit here and tell me that was good. What?
It was a tough watch. I'm sorry. I wanted Bubba to win too, but my gosh.
That is, yeah.
Better days next week.
Yeah, better days next week. But there we go. That is the polls. I'm baffled by that cup poll. We gotta chat. We need to have a dialogue about that. We'll have a dialogue after the stream. But that's gonna do it for the stream here, folks. Guys, again, 40. Thank you so much for coming on, man. This is awesome.
That was fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And that's going to do it for us here, folks, on this episode. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you see my links to my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are both underneath my webcam. Please like this stream and subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please check out dailydownforce.com for all sorts of great content over there. Articles, minigames, content creators, you name it. Head over to dailydownforce.com for all sorts of great content over there as well. But that's going to do it for us, folks. We're going to wave the checker flag. This is the Cutline. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Iowa.